Fluffy Buns just jumped on me about minute ago, roughly, and right in the middle of a meditation. Wump. I'm home, he says. Anyway, he loves being part of our group and he's purring very loud. What's going on, guy? Anyway, I found our topic this week enjoyable, provocative, stimulating, interesting, challenging. You know, the usual admix, the eradication, the elimination, at least the reduction of fear. And it seems like something we could talk about for the rest of our lives. And it seems, I wonder why, because it seems to be a condition on earth that we humans face, and every generation faces it in their own way. When we were 10 or 20 or 25, maybe 30 years old, there was the things in the world then that could have caused us fear. And imagine being 20 or 25 years old now and what there would be to be afraid of in the world. And fear will always be a topic, and there will always be those on the planet who suffer and struggle with more fear, and there will always be those on the planet that are more liberated and suffer from considerably less fear. There'll always be this variation, and it's hard for the collective to eliminate fear all at once. It seems to me as though it's rather obvious that fear is eliminated or reduced on the planet one human being at a time. And as I've mentioned a couple of times during the week, it says in the Eastern scriptures, the yoga scriptures, that the primary cause of fear is forgetting who we are. And in our forgetfulness, in our spiritual amnesia, we seem terrifically vulnerable and susceptible. Anything and everything can get us at any moment from any given angle. And so the prescription for the elimination, the reduction of fear is rather apparent, isn't it? Remember who we are. So just go ahead, remember who you are, go, do it now, remember now. Okay, if that didn't work all at once, then it seems as though we've arrived at a place this week where we can realize or understand, and it can dawn on us that the eradication of fear is a learned skill. It's something that we can gain and get better at over time. And isn't this the truth for all of us? I'm so personally interested in what it is that helps us to learn how to do things, how to remember our innate skill at something. Now, I'm going to use one example. Joshua Heifetz, the greatest violin player of the 20th century. Maybe you're familiar with him. Anyway, he was born in somewhere in Eastern Europe around the turn of the 20th century, not the 21st. And his dad was a violin player and his mom was a music teacher. And so his dad had a violin in his hands before he could hold a rattle, long before he could walk. And what this meant was, and Heifetz tells this story quite brilliantly, he said, by the time I was 3 years old, you know that age where we kind of come up out of the muck? We kind of like, wow, I am present. I'm a present being in the universe. By the time he was 3 years old, he was already a virtuoso on the violin. In other words, his initial experience of life was anything that he was asked or required to do by his father or any teacher on the violin, he could do it. He could just simply do it. Now, most of us, that's not quite our experience. When we begin to learn something, there's what we were taught early on, but there's an age, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Something interests us. It's a sport, it's a skill, it's a language, it's math, it's science, it's computer, it's something grabs us and we decide that we're going to learn that thing. And then by golly, we learn it over a long period of time. And isn't it amazing? Have you ever noticed? I can still very much relate to this because as I'm learning the drums, I'm 4 years in, and sometimes the only thing that keeps me going is wow, I can do something and I could not do that before. There's this tangible, no doubt about it. I was struggling with this thing and now I can do it moment. Now, wherever this is, obviously it's not virtuoso play, it's simple beginner. But I believe the same thing is available to us when it comes to the eradication and the elimination of fear. It's a learned skill. It's something that we learn to do by remembering who we are. And it's something that we can all get better at. But some people are getting better at learning how to live fear free, and some people aren't. And that's going on the planet right now. Wouldn't it be a wonderful legacy to leave to your children, to your progeny, your younger generations, how you learned to live more and more free of fear and less of the corrosive, corruptive effects of fear? And I believe this is something we can do, but it is a choice. It's a choice to walk through the valley of the shadow of death and actually look at it and say, I shall not fear because I will remember who I am. Now, I conclude this very extensive topic this week and even this talk today. I got up really early. I was really thinking about this. When it comes to learning and remembering who we are and the eradication of fear, remember this one great line, line 10 from Psalm 46. It says, Bills, be still and know, be still and remember, be still and learn. Everything we have, everything else we try to learn, a new dance step, a new way to play the guitar, a new language, a new computer skill. It all involves this deep, intensive action. But in meditation, this thing we're doing now, we're learning how to be still. In stillness, there's nothing that delivers the remembrance and the skill of knowing who we are more so than meditation. And as we learn that and we get better, then we can pass it on to somebody else. A person filled with fear cannot teach somebody else how to be free of fear. But as each and every one of us in this group learns to live in less and less fear and more faith and love and trust, then we'll pass that legacy on. I made it all the way through the talk without getting bit. I'll see you all tomorrow. I would love to hear from you what you've learned about the eradication of fear. See ya.